On to the last recommendations. The final film I'll be doing recommendations for is the Technicolor musical Singin' in the Rain. The first we'll be looking at is Cover Girl from 1944. Gene Kelly plays the manager of a nightclub where his girlfriend, played by Rita Hayworth, works as a chorus girl. A magazine editor, played by Otto Kruger, is running a contest to put a new face on the cover of his magazine. He arrives at the nightclub, sees Hayworth, puts her on the magazine, and she's an overnight sensation. With her career on the rise, her and Kelly are now faced with the idea that their differing career paths might ultimately end their relationship. Man, now that I think about it, this sounds like a darker plot than it actually is. This is one of the few musicals I feel does a great job balancing a more lighthearted tone with more serious moments. As you can see, this film doesn't look like a lot of its contemporary musicals. Most of them were bright, poppy, and always exploding with energy. There are scenes like that in this film, but only when there needs to be. There's a good amount of melancholy and even some quiet moments. This is something we associate with musicals of the latter half of the 20th century, so I see it as pretty innovative. Another thing I admire is the inventiveness and use of the musical sequences. Many of them are fun and catchy, but almost all of them help tell the story, which, as we know, didn't always happen in films from this period because, well, audiences didn't care, and I don't blame them. They just wanted to be entertained. But here, they're entertaining and sometimes insightful. I think my favorite scene and everyone else's favorite scene is when Gene Kelly dances with his own reflection. Not only is it super cool, but it's a brilliant way to show the emotional struggle he's going through. It's also an impressive technical feat. They shot Kelly doing the dance on his own 2 separate times, and then composited the shots together. If he didn't get the timing right, this whole thing wouldn't work as well as it did. Just as impressive are some of the set pieces. I love the big show number where Hayworth runs down from the clouds. The music in general is also great. From the songs to the score, there wasn't one tune that made me want to fast forward through it. Hayworth and Kelly have great chemistry together. Their affection feels real, but they also seem to have an admiration for each other. This is probably the strongest aspect of the film because it gets us more invested in the conflict. It helps make scenes like Kelly dancing with himself have more weight to them. Seeing the scene on his own is great, but in the context of the film, it makes it more profound. The supporting cast is great too. Phil Silvers and Eve Arden play 2 comedic reliefs, and man are they great. I'm a big fan of both Arden and Silvers, so it was a real treat to see them in early roles. I will admit, this isn't them at their best. Some of their timing can be off, but for the most part, their delivery is great. Something I always remember from this film are the costumes. This and Singing in the Rain have what I consider to be the most dazzling dresses in musical history. So, if you like Singing in the Rain, you'll like Cover Girl for its great love story, inventive dance numbers, funny side characters, astounding production design, stunning costumes, and of course, Gene Kelly.